I'm Thayrone, and it's WAAM Talk 1600. Well, we have a number of people that, for God knows what reason, want to represent us politically, and I'm hoping that if and when they get there, they can do a much better job than the clowns, the horse pimps and thieves that are in there currently are doing. And right now I'm joined by a gentleman who wants to become a state senator. His name is R.L. Bain. R.L. Bain, welcome to On the Edge.
Hey, how you doing, Thayrone?
I'm doing well. Tell us briefly about you. First of all, what party are you running? What flag are you flying?
I'm running under the Republican Party banner.
Okay, and what part of the state, what district?
17, it's all of Monroe County, part of Washtenaw, and eastern Jackson.
All right, tell us about you and what you have going on. This for the primary race, of course.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been a voting Republican for over 35 years, and I'm appalled at what my party has become.
Mm-hmm.
My father come from the farm fields of Tennessee and come up here to work in the auto factories to make a better life for his family. He worked for 43 years for Chrysler Corporation, and we had many discussions at the dinner table because after I come out of the Air Force, I come out as a Republican. And his party of the John Kennedy Democratic Party today would be more Republican than our Republican Party.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, it's amazing what I've learned over the past few years of research using the Michigan legislative website, the Secretary of State Campaign Finance website, the stable of Mackinac Center for Public Policy publications, and several others to see what's really going on up there. And I'll tell you what, our legislatures has run this state into the ground, and it's time for serious solutions, serious leadership, and to change the culture that's going on up there.
Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It's www.seriousleadership.com.
Okay, because I looked for it, I didn't see it. I surfed on your name. So,
If you Google Bain for senator, it'll come up #1.
Okay, so seriousleadership.com.
That's correct.
All right. Where do you stand on, I don't know if you caught the first part of the show, part of what I've been talking about is I think our legislators need to take a very serious stance, even on a state level. State level races are going to be so important with what's going on in Washington against United Nations treaties, if at a minimum issuing resolutions against them. Where do you stand on things like that?
I'm all for Second Amendment right, and I'm against what they're trying to do with that treaty. I think it's wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how we stand against that. If our United States senators, we have one on record. He actually emailed me. Carl Levin already supports this stuff, and it hasn't even been put on his desk yet.
Well, that's the real far left liberals that, to me, the Democrats fell off the cliff, and the Republican Party just followed to the left where they were. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just appalling what's going on here. I mean, the corruption at the local level, within the parties, within the townships, all the way up through Lansing, all the way to D.C., with what I've learned, it's definitely apparent, and I think the incumbents need to go. You can't expect to reelect the same ones over and over again and expect a different result. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I'll give you that, and I like the fact that you have an R after your name. If you listen to my show at all, it is my contention that it starts, the first step, and it's a long, long walk we have going here, but the first step is to break the Democrat stranglehold in every house, both nationally and statewide. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly, but we also have what I call liberal left-leaning Republicans that should also be weeded out.
Absolutely, but to start, yes, where we can. For example, on a national level, we have Lindsey Graham, who's not a Republican at all. Even worse, we have Olympia Snow, Susan Collins. These people are not Republicans, not even close.
Absolutely.
But it starts with surrounding them with conservative Republicans and then kicking their butts out of office if necessary. But I think the focus is to take care of the Democrats first.
And that's like in Lansing. There's a handful of true Republicans up there. And I don't know if I can mention their name, but I think the problem is that they're overwhelmed by a majority of the liberal left-leaning or the old guard, if you will, that's been up there.
No, you can mention their name.
They're afraid if they take the wrong step, they'll run them out of town on a rail.
No, you can mention their name. I know the House is
under you've got David Agema, you've got Tom McMillan, Paul Opsmer, the ex-rep Jack Hogendijk. I mean, there's a few that are just really hard Republicans, true Republicans.
Mm-hmm. What's the battle that you're up against when you get there?
Changing the culture. I'm hoping that there's enough of us that can get elected to replace these liberal Republicans that can get up there and overwhelm because there's a big changeover this year. If we can get true Republicans up there, and get rid of the liberal Republicans, I think we'd be in real good shape.
Well, once you do that, and you get a strong cadre of conservatives, I would argue, in my opinion. Now, you tell me what you think the number one issue is. I think the number one issue in this state right now, of course, it's employment. So let's say that running a close second, if not first, is education. We have kids right now coming out of school that have 8th grade education at the 12th grade graduation level.
Oh, absolutely. And one of my plans is to introduce legislation to eliminate the MBT and the MBT surcharge tax on businesses, and give, because of the economic climate and the dire straits we're in, give them a 1 to 2 year exemption on any tax, while the legislature works out something more fair, whether it be a 5% flat tax or some variable, to encourage businesses who've left this state to come back in, and encourages the businesses here to hire people and promote economic growth.
You know, that's an excellent point, and it's one I think that we need to hear from every politician, almost regardless of who gets elected. If we put on a serious effort to get some type of a coalition of the willing in Michigan to solicit people who, say, gone to China or Mexico or whatever, and say, come on back, here's what we're going to do to make it friendly for you, we could do this.
Absolutely.
We could bring back manufacturing.
Example. We learned early on, my wife and I, and we pulled our kids out of public education and sent them to Catholic school. My daughter, her first year in college, first class, first day, raised her hand and asked the instructor if she was in the wrong class, because what she started to teach was something she learned in 10th grade. So that goes back to your point on education. Yeah, we do have a problem. I think we have way too many districts. You know, with the flight that's left this state, with the population and the jobs, we should definitely be consolidating. We don't need 500 and some odd districts.
Okay, give us a quick overview of where you stand on a host of issues. Again, I haven't got your site up and running, but if you address the issues there, what do you?
Well, I stand for less government, lower taxation, total transparency, which we don't have now. It took me over 2 years to compile the information that I've compiled, just because they don't make it easy for you. Pro-life, Second Amendment. You know, I just think that we need real citizens representing the citizens.
Yeah, and listen, just hearing you talk about this right now, this is the basic Republican platform, which is an excellent platform, and it really gets me when people say, well, you know, we can't trust the Republican Party. We can if we can drive them back to their own roots.
Right, the original traditions, values, and principles that it was founded upon.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just like the Constitution. They think it's just a piece of paper. That's the manual. That's the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the playbook.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
They're starting it, or they're wanting to change it like it's a living document. It's not.
Yeah, I know. It's spongy. They want to shred the parts they don't like. Okay, listen. Give us, as I've been telling everybody that's been on the show, give us your 2-minute elevator door pitch. Sell us.
Sell ya? Okay, I'm a real citizen, just like all the other citizens. I think we need real citizen representation with serious solutions and serious leadership, and to change this culture that we've got up in Lansing with the devotion that these incumbents got to the well-funded lobbyists and the powerful special interests who dictate the policy and not the people. I mean, you know, they donate to their campaign coffers. They're beholden to them. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I had a phone call in October from my opponent on a separate issue, and I asked him, I says, why? What are you doing taking donations from the deputy sheriffs, the Democratic Deputy Sheriffs Union? He says, well, you see, he says, all organizations donate to all candidates just to cover whoever wins because they want to have a say in public policy. And I said, so you mean the common man who doesn't have the resources to donate to your campaign doesn't have a say in public policy? He said to me, his answer was, not necessarily true. Not necessarily true? What kind of answer is that? You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
I've experienced it down here. I've seen it in our 2008 county convention. They took away our right to a secret ballot in a Republican county convention. They purged 13 former executive committee members. There's 50 precinct delegates that were at that convention that will not be back. And it's all for the sake of the country club clique and for power, money, and re-election and feeding at the public trough.
Well, you're absolutely correct. That I think is a driving force more often than not in politics, especially once they get in. Many people may go there, but once they get in and they get their snout in that trough and they're getting their special committees.
For 4 years.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you support a part-time legislature?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. I would introduce legislation for that.
I like everything I'm hearing here. Now, who are you running against? Who's your competition in the
Senator
primary?
Randy Richardville, a 10-year incumbent.
Okay. That's it, just him?
Well, there's Paul Hengy and John Spencer running on the Democratic side in the primary.
Right, but on the Republican side, only 2 in the primary.
Only us 2.
Okay, well, listen, we wish you the best. Good luck.
Hey, thanks a lot, Thayrone.
Okay, thanks for being on the show. That's give your website one more time.
www.seriousleadership.com.
SeriousLeadership.com. Thank you, R.L. Bain. Good luck to you, brother. SeriousLeadership.com. You're on the edge.